Right, so welcome to another episode on the YouTubes where we're going to go through my latest performance at the December Open down in Limerick last week. So, as you know, I have been prepping for the last 20 weeks for this competition. This is my first competition as an under 93, and I haven't looked back at any of the footage just yet. So I do have the lifting the Crowdcast stream up here, so I'm after downloading the videos, and this is going to be my initial reaction to these clips, so you know kind of what was going through my mind at the time and how we were trying to strategically get me onto the podium, which we'll find out if I did or not at the end of this video. So sit back, relax, grab yourself a cup of tea and enjoy. That's good stuff. Anyways, so getting stuck in right away with my first lift of the day, my opening squat. So 220 to start off with. I've been moving this quite comfortably in prep, so it was never going to be an issue. Depth is on the money, and it was actually, so I get a yellow flag for this from one of the side judges because I couldn't hear the rack command. So after the squat, you have to wait basically until the refs tell you to walk the bar back into the rack, but it was absolutely blaring it down in Limerick. I couldn't hear them, so that was down 2-1 lights. But 2 bites, that meant I got the lift, so I had no issues there. So moving along to my next lift would be 232.5 kg, and our plan going into this competition was just to go maybe 220, 230, 240 depending on how the day goes. But seeing as my opener moved so fast and it was so comfortable, we said we'd take a bigger jump on our second attempt to just try and narrow the gap between myself and the opposition. So I went with 232.5, same thing again, it moved swimmingly well, and I was very happy. I was really confident after that lift that 240 was not only going to be like a standard third attempt for me, but almost conservative, because there was a bit of chat going on in the background between me and Dav going into our final lift whether I should take 240 or 242, jump 10 kilos. But we said, look, let's play conservative, let's try and get that 240 on the board and we'll go from there. And of course, all that is just theory and it's all just words, whole lot of words, and they don't mean nothing unless you can back them up, which unfortunately, as you can see from my third attempt, didn't happen. Just as I unrack the bar and I take my step back and get myself ready, and as I go to squat, no issues, and for whatever reason it felt like the barbell just rolled up on my back, and by that stage it was too late to try and fight my way back into a position to try and stand the bar back up, because the spotters jumped in, and rightly so, they jumped in straight away. So, bit disappointing of course, but what can you do? Have to move on. So I knew that I let myself down coming into bench press. I knew I had a bit of, the wind was taking out my sails kind of coming into bench, but I could look at it 2 ways. One, be disappointed in myself, or just feel like I wasn't in contention to get a podium spot because I missed one lift, or else I could just suck it up, move on, and make bench move as good as possible, which I actually did. So what we're going to see now is my bench. So coming into my opener, fairly straightforward as well, no issues there. The Eleiko bench that we were actually using on the day of the competition was the same one I used down in the Marina Market in Cork, and I knew going into that it was going to feel savage. It's an incredibly comfortable bench. The padding on it, you can actually really sink into it, I felt, and I was just able to get into such a nice position that I was able to force so much leg drive. I felt like I was glued into that bench, which is great, and it showed on the day. Like, all 3 benches moved fantastic. I'm actually going to skip on here to my second attempt because the first one moved so easily. Yeah, so 140 kilos for my second attempt, and I was kind of having a look at the leaderboard there, and I thought I'd be further off the pack than I was because of my third squat. It didn't go the way it was, but after a second attempt on bench, I was quite comfortable that I had at least another 5 kilos in me. As you can see, the 140 flew up, and that was probably the best it's ever moved. But I was forecasted in 4th place after that. So I was just trying to keep as close to the pace as possible on bench, because that wouldn't be known for being my specialty, let's say. Now, I'm not saying that I have a specialty in any of the lifts, but if I was to pick any of them, I think people would know me for my deadlift strength. So I was always thinking about that at the back of my mind, that I can always try and chip away with deadlifts once I can handle the pace of bench, stay with the pack. And as you can see from my 3rd attempt, that happened. It was surprisingly fast how good it moved, how good it felt as well. Because I hit this weight 2 weeks prior in training when I was a little bit fried, of course, at the end of a prep. All that fatigue is just accumulated, your fatigue is at the highest, and it was a little bit of a grinder, I won't lie. But compare that to the day of the competition, such a big improvement, man. And there could have been another 5 kilos there, like. But I didn't want to be too greedy on my 3rd attempt on bench, just because of how squats went. If I was too greedy on my 3rd attempt at bench and then create even further deficit of at least like 10 kilos, then I'm throwing myself out of contention for the podium altogether. So we took 145, made it move nice. And coming into deadlifts, this is the fun part, of course. So opened up 260 kilos, moved as expected. But because I'm opening up a little bit heavier than a good few of the rest of the pack, really, it meant I had a bit more of a break. So took my time coming out for my 1st attempt. No need to rush things. Like, at the end of the day, you have 1 minute on the platform, so you may as well make the most of it. So even something as simple there, as you can see, the bar isn't straight, so just take my time, putting the bar into position so the bar is straight, taking it from there. Moves good. Happy with that. So just going off how the day was moving, 260 kg, how well it moved. The plan attempt was between 270 280 kg, so we went with 277.5 just because we knew we had 2 more lifts to go, so we wanted to make sure we didn't completely burn through our resources too quick. So 277.5, just to put a little bit more pressure on the pack as well, because this put me from 5th to 3rd place. A good lift. So now this is when things got interesting. So this is the point where Dav, my coach, put in 290 kilos just to put in a number, because you have 60 seconds. If you don't put a number in within those 60 seconds, they will just add 2.5 kg to your previous lift, which of course was not close to what I had in the tank. So 290 was put in, but depending on how the other lifters got on before I lifted, that meant whatever they lifted, if they successfully lifted their lifts, which they all pretty much did, that means that I need to increase my 3rd attempt to a number to push past their total, let's say. So basically what happened was we were keeping an eye on Sir James McLaughlin, that is, my training partner in abs. So he loaded up 275 kg, he needed to lift that, and he sure did. So that meant in order for me to overtake him on the total, I needed to increase my 3rd attempt from 290 to 295 kg. Coming into this 295 kg lift, I knew I was feeling a little bit tired after a long day of competing, but I felt confident that I had the strength to do it, especially the little extra percent, knowing that I could go jump from 4th place to 2nd place after this lift. I was well riled up, as you can see when I come out onto the platform. Some crack. So here I am getting ready, in the zone. Bar moves off the floor well. Lock it out, and just as I go to hold on to the bar, slips out of my hands, as does the podium place. Yeah, that meant that I stayed in 4th place. Then the lifter after me, he got his final deadlift, so I was the second last deadlift of the day. He successfully hit his 3rd deadlift, and that jumped him into 1st place. And that meant I dropped down the pecking order a small bit, down to 5th place overall. So that's where I finished on the day. And considering it's my very first competition as an under 93, there was so much 93 kg lifters on the day that it was split into 2 different groups, the A group and B group. I think there was 28 under 93 kilo lifters overall, and I came 5th place out of that, so like I can't complain. Now I am a bit away from the qualifying total for 2026, which is 700 kilos. I finished with 655, and so yeah, plenty of work to do next year, but I'm looking forward to the challenge. And yeah, it's been a fantastic prep, a really good journey, and I was glad I was able to document the whole thing. But yeah, that's pretty much it for now. So where we go from here, coming into Christmas, I'm going to try and maintain my body weight between 90 to 91 kgs, hold that. Depending on where we're at then come January, I might enter into a quick tidy up phase just after Christmas, after my competition. Like there's going to be more meals out, let's say training intensity isn't going to be as high, there might be a bit more fat mass accumulation over those couple of weeks. Like I'm just being realistic with Christmas and all. So quick tidy up phase for 2-3 weeks at most, pull my body weight back down to maybe 88-87 kg, just to wipe the slate clean, start off nice and lean, so my body is in a much more efficient place to start building into a longer calorie surplus. Because if I just jump into a calorie surplus right after Christmas, after a gain of maybe 2-3 kilograms of body fat, that's just shortening the length of time that I can eat up into this weight class even further. So just taking 1 step back to take 2 steps forward, and eventually over time I will see myself filling out the 93 kilo weight class. I weighed in at 89.95, so I have plenty of room to grow. So that's the challenge now for 2026. I'm looking forward to it, and if you are interested in seeing that, make sure to like, share and subscribe as well, so you know where to find me. And yeah, happy Christmas, have a good one, and I'll speak to you in the next.